Okay. You know, today when you chanted the Lalita Sahasranama, you used such amazing words, towards the end. Every word was kind of giving me one new story. So here is another story. So I had gone to Nepal. All right, Nepal. What do you know about Nepal? What's the temple that comes to your mind when you listen to Nepal? Muktinath. Ah, Muktinath and and Narayana, Narayana. What about the Om Namah Shivaya? Pashu? Pashupatinath, right? Pashupatinath temple. Now, another very fascinating temple actually. It has 4 heads and a fifth head. And I was there on Mahashivratri on a particular day to get the blessings from Pashupatinath. I went into the Devis. I'm not even going to complete that because it's a very long story. I'm going to make it short. So there is one Devi there, and she's called Guhyeshwari. She's called Guhyeshwari. I had a fascinating experience that really brought me so close to Keshavji's teachings actually. So I went to this temple, and the first thing that I see is a lot of women are couples are getting married outside. And one girl was getting married to a tree. So they have some custom, some culture, and she was beautiful. So we started taking pictures, we were walking around the temple, posing with her, etc. By the time we went to the door of the temple, they put the curtains down. And they said, थोड़ी देर के बाद आना, 1 घंटे के बाद खुलेगा, अभी नहीं खुलेगा. And we had no time, we had to rush. It's a foreign country and we already have a big schedule written for us, so we ran out. But I promised my friends that I will bring you back here for sure tomorrow on the way to the airport before we leave to another place in Nepal. So we did the same thing. We had only 20 minutes to spare the next day and we went running. But my friend had injured her knee like I have injured it today. She wasn't able to walk fast. So she said, Jayashree, you won't stop for me, you go. So we went running, 2 of us. We went in, we were able to walk into the temple. And what did we see there? We saw a lot of dhua, 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 dhua. What do I mean by dhua, dhua? What's dhua? Dhua, dhua matlab kya hai? Dhoop. So that means the puja had just completed and she was decked with flowers, so many clothes on her, and there was only the dhua, camphor and all the dhoop that was. So do you think I could see the deity clearly? I couldn't. So I came back and I said, don't worry, we will go again the next day. I said, promise, next day I will again come back and we'll do something. The third day we went there and we walked in and it was silent. The doors were open. I had time to go and buy lamps. When I walked in, they had cleaned up the temple completely. And it was so clear, it was totally bad. They call it Nirmalya. There is nothing on the deity, and I'm able to see the golden orb. And we broke into beautiful music. We started singing Sri Chakravacha because we felt we were able to see the absolute center of the Sri Chakra. We were able to see the Bindu. That was the feeling we had. And just as I stepped out, something miraculous happened. I didn't have enough space in my phone to capture videos. So I told my friends, give me a few minutes, let me delete a few videos because I need to free up space. And what is the video that opens up as the largest video? Keshavji's video opens up and he is giving a nice talk. And this talk is on the Sri Chakra. And in that particular video, he's explaining about how when you walk from outside to inside, you will have to keep killing and going in. And when you come from inside to outside, you will have to keep creating to come out. Some of the adults here who are learning a lot of other knowledge about the Sri Chakra, etc., will be able to catch it immediately. I saw that in the first day I was lost in the outside, right? And I did not get. The second day I was still only in the second concentric ring. I hadn't reached. On the third day, I reached the center. And this knowledge opened up exactly at that point of time to remind me as to what had actually happened. To say, if I have to, because I'm a very sensorial person, I observe too many things around me. I'm always filled with, colors, this one, etc. So it was a nice reminder for me to get deeper inside, and for that I have to kill the. So in simple words, when we go to temples, it's very important to observe. It is very important to watch. It is very important to connect, but it is also equally important to then sit with your eyes closed and meditate. And that is why the Garbhagriha is so all everywhere outside is full of color, but when you go deep inside, it's just one small lamp and total darkness, which will just help you get deep within yourself. What a lovely way to learn the lesson, right? It is in the same place that I found a very cute little pendant. And this pendant is the Vajra Ayur. The minute I saw that, and I said, what is this? They said, it's a Vajra Ayur. I quickly picked it up. I still wear it. I wear it every single day of my life now because it's so special for me. I picked up this Vajra Ayur, quickly wore it around my neck, and then I was flaunting it. So story opened up. What do you think is the story that opened in my head when I saw Vajra Ayur? Who holds the Vajra Ayur? Indra. Who made the Vajra Ayur? Wow. Dadichi Maharishi. And Dadichi Maharishi, how did he make the Vajrayuda? With his box. See how appropriately she came and sat down now to tell us the rest of the story. How many of you would have got the answer, Dadichi, now? No? You did? High five, man. Wonderful. He knew Dadichi. But she came in promptly to say, hello, I'm here, because that's a very special moment. Dadichi Maharishi created this, with his bones. There's a long story behind that, but I will continue. I picked up this Vajra, and then I walked from Nepal. I went straight to Naimisharanya. Naimisharanya is a forest, and it's said to be the safest haven for all the sages to meditate in.
Even today.
Even today, in the Kalki Yuga, right? Mahavishnu was supposed to have brought his chakra there, and then where the chakra stops, he says this will be the safest place, and it starts sinking into the earth. And that's when Malalita is called. And Malalita stops the chakra. Otherwise, it would have gone to Atala Patala. So it stops there and springs from there a jet of wonderful water from the Gomati river. So you have a fresh spring of water that comes
It's called
there.
Chakra Tirtha.
It's called Chakra Tirtha. It's a Tirtha once again. So I went there and I'm walking into I'm just entering Naimisharanya when I opened my Google and said, let me read a little about Naimisharanya before I go. Remember, I told you we should always know a little bit about the Sthala Purana. We should know a little bit. We should know something so that we at least look for it and look beyond it also. And who do you think makes an appearance? Any idea? Dadichi. Just then I'm wearing it's only one day back that I worn the Vajrayuda around me, and I walk into Naimisharanya and I discover that Dadichi Maharishi did his yajna there. This was the place where he did his yajna, and this is exactly where he turns the bones into this one and gives the Ayuda to Indra. I'm startled. I say, why is Dadichi following me? What more should I learn? I go to Naimisharanya, I get into the Tirtha, and I have a nice bath in the Tirtha, and I come and sit under the peepal tree. You know what is fantastic about the place? Under the peepal tree, you have a lot of young people like you who sit and narrate stories. And they say, Ajao Ma, and they'll tell you all the stories with so much love, so much passion. They'll give you all the details. So they asked me, Ma, आप इतने अच्छे दिन पे कैसे यहाँ पर आ गए? तो मैंने कहा अच्छा दिन सभी तो अच्छा ही देखते हैं. Every day is good. What is so special about today? You know what he said? He said, आज ही के दिन दधीची महर्षि ने यज्ञ प्रारंभ किया. एंड आज ही के दिन यहाँ हर जगह में हवन होता है. आप उसी दिन पर यहाँ पर आ गई हो तो ज़रूर हर जगह जाना और यज्ञ में भाग लेना. So we got this golden opportunity to participate in the yajna. We also did the Lalita Sahasranama in the Lalita temple there. This I thought would be the end because oh great. And I come to Tiruvannamalai in just another 2 weeks' time because that's my favorite pastime, you see. So I go there to a particular place. It's a beautiful ashram called Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Ashram. And what opens up there? There's a Bhagavad Gita. It's a huge Bhagavad Gita book open. And I have this habit of always going and seeing what is there in it for me today. That's my curiosity. So I go there, and what do I see? I see a huge painting of what? Any guesses? The Vajrayuda. A huge painting of the Vajrayuda, and it gets revealed in the Bhagavad Gita. Mahavishnu is telling that among the Astras and Ayudas, I am the Vajra. And among the cows, he is Kamadhenu. Among the sages, he is Narada. And among the snakes, he is Vasuki. Why? Because all of these have sacrificed themselves for the larger good. And anybody who sacrifices all their needs, etc., and work for the betterment of the entire society is considered to be. So there are many, many, many stories. If you're really interested, you should come and meet me sometime, or we should travel together. I'll take you, because you should also have, this is a temple. That's why I agreed to come and talk about this topic here. We'll do a little bit today. After the session is over, let's go around and look at all the idols. Let us see what we know, what we can see. Let us see what are the questions that are coming to our mind. Because remember what the story in Kubera? Manasa, Vacha, Karmana. It cannot be just a talk. Though this is called a talk, it should translate into action. So the last bit today, the divine does not live in structures of the stone. He actually lives here. And this is what I got today. And as I was flicking through this book, there was a very beautiful little statement that I saw by Satya Sai. And I thought I must share it with you because today's message, Sai does not live in structures of stone or brick and mortar. He lives in soft hearts, warm with sympathy and fragrant with universal love. So every single temple that we go to is not just a stone structure. That is not where we are expected to stay. We are expected to be inspired by every structure, every little piece of art that has been created by somebody who was in that very ignited, and it very totally in alignment with the cosmic thing. They have created so much for us. We need to dwell upon it, only to wake up the softness in our. On that note, I will say goodbye for today. This will be the end of my podcast.